A progressive who lost her general election after tacking to the center is now telling Democrats, don't do what I did. Okay, I done messed up. So this is India Walton, who had stunned people by defeating a 4-term incumbent mayor in the Buffalo, New York primary back in 2021. Now, she won that primary, and then after winning the primary, went, ooh, I got to moderate. Go to the center, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? She lost her general election. Now she's coming out to say, Democrats, progressives, stick to your message. Do not do what I did. Do not moderate or water down your message. Be progressive, be strong. Okay, or else you are going to lose. Now, Walton is a senior strategist at RootsAction now, and she said, look, moderating is what got us here, okay? And she says that, obviously, in the context of us having Donald Trump as president and Republican control of all 3 branches of government. Yes, moderating is what got us here. Kamala Harris tacked to the center and lost. That's what happened. Okay. Now she says, look, I pivoted fairly quickly to try and integrate myself into the party because I thought that was the way to build a broad-based coalition. It sort of ate away from our message from the inside out. Yeah. And a couple of examples here that she pointed to is backing away from her opposition of charter schools, which, of course, pissed off the teachers' unions. And not only that, but defund the police. She was like, oh, I said defund the police. Never mind. So obviously, when that happened, she ended up losing the teachers' union endorsement, as I mentioned, and she did not pick up the police endorsement. Big shocker there, right? Basically, what she did is ensured that she lost the general election. But yeah, she's out there now admitting, yeah, I messed up. Please do not do what I did. I abandoned the base. I FA'd and then I FO'd. Okay. Hey, you know what? Taking ownership of what you've done, I think that that takes a certain amount of strength, especially in politics, because I mean, there is this tendency to never admit when you do something wrong. And when it comes to Democratic leadership, especially to double down on doing the wrong thing. Okay. And again, she's saying the Democratic Party has been doing this, and this is why we have Donald Trump. Quote, I think a part of the reason how we got a second Donald Trump presidency is that the Democrats have not had a message that appeals to working class and poor people. True. Look, in 2024, the Democrats actually won a higher percent of wealthy Americans than they did of working class people. Republicans somehow won more working class people, including Latinos and African Americans. They won Gen Z voters, young Gen Z men. Why? It's the economy. It's the economy. Okay. And yes, there are other factors like, for example, the Democratic Party promoting or supporting the genocide in Gaza, supporting Israel to the hilt. And of course, that had some impacts here, especially in Michigan. But, you know, again, getting away from any sort of populist progressive message on economics, I mean, that right there, while Donald Trump's going around lying about how he's going to lower grocery prices on day one and prescription drug prices, etc., Kamala Harris is walking around with Liz Cheney and Mark Cuban saying, we're going to defend democracy. Okay. So that was a big problem. Okay. Big problem. Big reason why they lost. Okay. And yes, of course, racism and sexism, etc., that also exists, obviously. But again, those people wouldn't have voted for a Democrat anyway. Honestly, the people who are racist and sexist generally were not going to cross over to vote for Democrats anyway. So I'm sorry, you're not going to appeal to those people. You're not going to appeal to Trump voters. You're not going to appeal to, you know, Republicans. And so stop trying to do that. Stop trying to do that. And actually look to the left. Look to your left flank. And I know that's difficult for Democrats to do because the donors are like, oh, can't have that. That's going to mean higher taxes on us, and I don't want that. Well, too bad. You actually want to win. You actually want to represent the people. Then you might want to actually, I don't know, represent the people and not your wealthy donors. Now, she added, the establishment resists policies that help the working class because they are beholden to corporations and billionaires. It's not the message they want to hear, but it's the message that is resonant with the voters. Okay, and she was talking about, of course, policies like, I don't know, universal health care, universal child care, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. The Republican Party is very, very good at driving the narrative. We see it all the time. Their media has incredible amounts of solidarity. They build off each other because they're essentially funded by the same people, billionaires. We do not have that on left media. In fact, there's so much infighting among lefty creators, liberals, etc. You know why? Because we're not funded by the same people. We're not funded at all. And so we're fighting over I wouldn't say a small share of people, but I am saying that we are fighting over people, just viewership to scrape by and survive. Whereas, again, you have the right wing that is funded by billionaires and giant corporations. And so it's not really a fair playing field here. Okay. That said, now the Republicans drove the narrative that Harris was too far to the left in her policies, which wasn't true at all. Now, unfortunately, since Harris lost, that narrative has been adopted by the Democrats. Okay. And so now Democrats like Gavin Newsom throwing trans people under the bus, throwing homeless people under the bus, and are promoting what is basically supply side economics again, which is the abundance agenda. Okay. Abundance, by the way, is just repackaged neoliberalism. Doesn't help working people at all. It's pro-corporate. That's it. It's immensely pro-corporate. Now, Republicans, by the way, they don't help working people. Both parties are being driven by wealthy corporate donors who hate progressive economic policy. They do not want people to have higher wages. They do not want people to have universal health care. They do not want people to have paid leave. They do not want people to have universal child care. They don't want any of that. Voters, however, they love those policies. And you could point to all across the country where voters, yes, in red states, approved of minimum wage increases, like in Missouri, for example, passing a $15 minimum wage, passing sick leave. Nebraska, you had voters that approved of guaranteed time off, paid time off. Okay, and so these are red states that are doing where the voters are saying, we want progressive policies. When you moderate your message away from those policies, you lose those voters. But when you run on those policies, look at what happens. You end up with someone like Zohran Mamdani, who defeated Cuomo in a primary, who is currently crushing in the polls against Cuomo and Adams, because he's talking about everyday issues. Now, Walton, she says, look, what he's doing, you should do that. Okay, you do that. Quote, people hear hope and we're going to prioritize working class people. People hear hope and I'm not going to capitulate to the establishment and negotiate all of our power that we built. This is the right time. Look, I think it's important to share this message, and I appreciate that she is putting this out because she's right. She's right. Okay? This is someone who pivoted to the center and lost, saying, do not repeat my mistakes. Okay? Take a position, take the progressive position, and stay strong with it. Okay? Tell the people you're going to be working for them and not for big corporate interests. And that right there is a winning message. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe with the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.